Hey guys, it is MattySports bringing my Week 10 predictions of the 2015 college football season. Last week in Week 9, I went 6 and 4. North Carolina beat Pittsburgh on the road. TCU took care of West Virginia. Arizona State lost to Oregon on a very high-scoring game in overtime, so tough loss for the Sun Devils. Penn State beat Illinois. Florida handled Georgia very easily. Duke lost to Miami on an 8-play lateral that basically had questions everywhere. The refs even got suspended for 2 games after that. The ACC league admitted that there were mistakes made on that final play, and Duke basically should have won. But they're not going to give Duke the win. Basically, the Miami runner, one of the runners, when they had the ball, their knee was down, so the play should have ended. There were several block in the back penalties, stuff like that. So unfortunate for Duke. So that basically hurts their chances a little bit to win the ACC Coastal. Next, Michigan barely holds off Minnesota to win the Little Brown Jug. Minnesota decided to go for it on 4th and goal at the 1 yard line when they could have kicked a field goal to tie it to send to overtime, but I guess they were feeling the crowd and they were feeling gutsy, so they went for it, but Michigan had an impressive goal line stand to win. Stanford barely beats Washington State on the road. Washington State kept it very close, and I thought they might have had a chance. So Washington State has definitely been a surprising team this year. They've played a lot of good teams close, have gotten a couple of upset wins. So Wazoo has definitely had a pretty good season so far. Texas Tech loses to Oklahoma State at home. It was a very high-scoring game, but Oklahoma State blew it out in the ends. And lastly, Temple loses to Notre Dame. A very close game. Temple had a strong performance and definitely showed that the American Conference is very good this year. That was Week 9. Now we're on to Week 10. And before I get into these picks, the rankings that I'll say in this video do not reflect the AP poll rankings. As of this week, the first College Football Playoff Selection Committee rankings came out. So these rankings are based off of those, since those are the rankings that will decide the College Football Playoff and New Year's Six Bowl games, stuff like that. But first, we have an ACC coastal rivalry of Duke at North Carolina. Duke coming off of the loss in which they should have won, and North Carolina had a good win against Pittsburgh. North Carolina's at home, and right now North Carolina is the favorite to win the ACC Coastal, so I will take the Tar Heels to beat the Blue Devils. Next, we have number 5 Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's coming off the loss, and Notre Dame coming off of a tough, hard-fought win against Temple. Pittsburgh, they still have a chance to win the Coastal. This game is not a technical conference game, even though Notre Dame plays a certain amount of ACC teams. Notre Dame's at number 5 in these first rankings. I think they're a bit too close towards the top. I think they should be around the 7 or 8 mark for their ranking. But Notre Dame, I think it could be a tough game for them, but I think they will handle Pittsburgh. Next, we have an SEC West matchup of Arkansas at number 18, Ole Miss. Ole Miss still controls its own destiny in the SEC West. As long as they win out, they win the SEC West. So I don't think they'll have any problems against Arkansas at home, so I'll take Ole Miss to win. Next, we have a crucial Big 12 matchup of number 8 TCU at number 14 Oklahoma State. Both of these teams are undefeated, and this month of November is basically going to be a bunch of chaos in the Big 12. All the top teams in the Big 12 start playing each other. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, TCU, Baylor. They're all going to be basically playing each other in sort of a round-robin format like week after week. So this week starts it off. I think Oklahoma State can put a bunch of points up, but so can TCU, and I think TCU's defense is slightly better, so I will take the Horned Frogs on the road to win. Next, we have an American matchup of Cincinnati at number 25 Houston. Decided to show some more love for the American because, as I said before, I think they are a very good conference this year. Cincinnati has been a pretty good football team over the years. Houston's still undefeated. They're barely in the top 25, so the committee was not impressed with their performance as much as the AP poll. But I think with Houston at home, I think they can go ahead and win this game and stand defeated as they prepare for their games coming up against Memphis. Next, we have the game I'm looking forward to the most, obviously. The most crucial game in the ACC every year, and that is number 16 Florida State at number 1 Clemson. Clemson is number 1 for the first time in a long while. Last time Clemson was ranked number 1, they won the national championship. Florida State's ranked number 16. Last year, Ohio State was ranked number 16 in their first college football playoff rankings. Ohio State went on to make the playoff and win the national championship. Florida State 16, so maybe they could do the same. So, bit of a little info there to possibly see if things will take course like that. But this isn't about that. It's about the games. Jimbo Fisher still has not announced the quarterback that will start against Clemson. That will probably be revealed towards game time, because he'll probably make it secretive just so that Clemson may not know who to prepare for. In terms of who I personally want Sean McGuire to start. I know he only played one game, and it was against a very bad Syracuse defense. But Everett Golson hasn't shown that he could throw the ball downfield. I think Clemson's secondary is the weakest part of their defense. Even though Clemson lost all their front seven last year, they definitely had a bunch of playmakers step up, so their front seven is really good. So I personally want Sean McGuire to start over Everett Golson, but we still don't know about if Everett Golson's concussion stuff is good or not, so we still don't know any info about that. Dalvin Cook will most likely start at running back for Florida State. Hopefully he will be healthy enough, and I'm glad that Jacquizz Patrick got the start last week while Dalvin Cook was out, because he looked very impressive. He's a much more physical runner that can break through tackles, so a two running back combination of Dalvin Cook and Jacquizz Patrick could be a very strong running attack for Florida State. And Clemson, Deshaun Watson at quarterback has been very good this year, has thrown a bunch of touchdown passes. It's a great dual threat quarterback, so they have a good quarterback at their hands. It's going to be a very close game. I don't see how Clemson's favored to win by 12.5. I mean, who knows, maybe they will blow out Florida State, but because Florida State is just too young and they have a bunch of injuries on the defensive end, they may have two starters out on their offensive line. I think it'll be tough for Florida State on the road at Death Valley. This game has been played at 8 o'clock the past 3 years. Last time it was played at 3:30 was in Death Valley, where Clemson won, back when good old Clint Trickett played that game and the starting quarterback for Florida State. So I'll take Clemson to win. I think it'll personally be close. But I just think Clemson is too experienced, and they're going to have the home crowd. They're ranked number 1, but they are known for quote-unquote Clemsoning. Haven't done it yet this year. This may be the time. Special teams, Florida State. Roberto Aguayo has not been as consistent this year. Has definitely missed his fair share of field goals, so it'll be close, but I think Clemson will win at home. Next, we have another American matchup of Navy at number 13, Memphis. Navy only has one loss, and that was to Notre Dame, so Navy's triple option has definitely been successful so far this year, but Memphis beat a very good Ole Miss team at home. I think they're the favorite to win the American, so I will take Memphis at home to win. Next, we have a Pac-12 matchup of number 12, Utah at Washington. Utah has got their first loss a couple weeks ago. Washington has just kind of had a mess season. They're usually a little slightly better, but it looks like this year they might finish around the 6-6 mark. And I think Utah's too good of a team, so I will take Utah on the road to win. Next, we have the upset special, where I will take the Penn State Nittany Lions to go on the road at number 21 Northwestern and win. Penn State has definitely looked pretty good. Their only two losses have come to Temple in the first week and against Ohio State. Northwestern's losses come from Iowa. And, I mean, Northwestern, I haven't really been that impressed with them. Yes, they beat Stanford. Yes, they beat Duke. But I don't know. Their play in the Big Ten just hasn't been as consistent, so I'll take Penn State on the road to win. And lastly, we have the game of the week where College Game Day will be going to, and it is a top 5 showdown of number 2 LSU at number 4 Alabama. Alabama's favored to win this game, which I'm a little slightly surprised, but I guess I shouldn't be just because Alabama has the name of Alabama. They are at home. I think it's going to be a very good matchup. Both defenses are fantastic, but I think the difference here will be the running attack of Leonard Fournette. So I will take LSU to go on the road at Alabama for the slight upset, and I will take the Tigers to beat the Crimson Tide. But anyway, guys, that's been it for this week's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The games that I missed, the games that happened last week, games I predicted this week that you want to mention. Let me know. So anyway, guys, this has been MattySports. I'll see you guys next week for Week 11.